If you're using a spinning rod for bass fishing, you're doing it wrong. I think I'd have to disagree. You watch any pro in a tournament and they've got a spinning rod on deck. No, bro, that's the sissy rod. The whippy stick, there's no reason to have that. Power fishing all the way, get rid of the spinning rod. I'm not gonna lie, I've talked to a number of anglers who say there's no reason to have a spinning rod for bass fishing. Well, I politely disagree. What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today we are talking about why I think every bass angler should have a spinning rod in their arsenal. Specifically today, I'm gonna cover what I think is the most versatile spinning combo for bass fishing. We're gonna talk about everything from the rod to the reel, the line, and even lures that I use on a spinning rod. There's a reason that bass anglers at the highest level always have some spinning rods on deck, and we're gonna cover that. So let's break down the combo and start off with, when do I use a spinning rod and reel combo? Well, for me, it's about lighter lures and finesse presentations. Really, anytime I'm going under 1/4 ounce for lures, I mean, a 1/4 ounce on a baitcaster is no problem. Once I start going under that, I feel like it's just a lot less of a headache to grab the old spinning combo and use that. I know there are BFS baitcasters out there, you know, bait finesse system, baitcasters that are set up specifically for lightweight lures, you know, like a weightless wacky rig, you know, all that type of stuff, but they're not as easily as obtained as, you know, one of these. And as a beginner, you probably already got one of these in your arsenal. So I'm talking about throwing things like, you know, a wacky rig, or even a lightly weighted wacky rig, Ned rig, Nico rig, light shaky heads. All those things, I think, honestly just perform a lot better on a spinning combo. So let's start out. What about the rod? My personal favorite is like a 7-foot to 7'2". It's gonna depend on you and how you fish. You know, if you do a lot of bank fishing, you might want a little bit shorter rod. You know, guys and gals, anglers who are doing drop shotting from a kayak might want a short rod, because when they're looking straight down on their fish finder, they wanna drop straight down on them. You know, you don't want an 8-foot rod that's clear out there trying to do that. So, you know, on the opposite end, you might want a longer rod to get longer casts. Longer rods help with a hook set on longer casts. So there's some things to think about, but I feel like a 7-foot to 7'2" is gonna do really well for you. Now, I personally like a medium power, fast action. You know, for the most part, spinning combos are gonna be softer than a comparable baitcaster. I don't know how well I can show that. Does that even show up? But that's pretty soft. Kind of like me after gaining the Covey 15. And what do I mean by that medium power fast action? Well, when you flip over the rod, a lot of them are gonna say like, this is a medium, 7-foot medium. It's gonna talk about the action. This is a fast action, and the lure rating. You're gonna kind of have to find what works for you, but to me, a 7-foot, medium power, fast action is gonna be great. And when you look at a fast action spinning rod, it just means it's gonna bend farther down into the blank as compared to a similar casting rod. You know, the casting rod might bend at like the front, I don't know, quarter of it, whereas the spinning rod's gonna bend farther back down toward the middle. That's what I mean by a softer rod. There's a number of different rods in the price spectrum. You know, you can go up to like a couple of these Okumas are like close to $200, right? And that's not fitting for everyone. This happens to be that 13 Fishing Fate Black, you know, the green lightsaber rods that everybody had. I've had zero issues with this rod, had it for a couple years, and I got it on sale at Fleet Farm here in the Midwest for 49 bucks. So you don't have to spend a ton of money on a finesse setup, because I'm gonna recommend you use braid. We'll get into that more, but you know, on a spinning setup like this, if you're just starting out, a spinning combo with braid, you will be more than fine. I've also used the Tatula XT extensively. This has been an awesome rod. I think I got this guy on sale for 70 bucks. Use the heck out of it. It's looking a little bit rough, but good rod. And also this Lew's Custom Speed Stick. I think it's kind of in the middle, like 140, 150, something like that. Good rod. All of them have done me well. Each one feels a little bit different. Some are a little bit stiffer than others, so that's why I say find what works for you, get them in your hand, test them, see what you like, and go. Okay, next, when we go down to the reel, for me, I like a 3,000 size reel. On most of my reels, you're gonna find that I like a 3,000, 300. It's gonna be different per company, but like a 30, 300, 3,000 size is gonna be this kind of middle of the road. So usually the spinning reels are gonna be like, you know, 10 or 100, 1,000, 200, 2,000, 300, 3,000, that kind of way they step up. I like a little bit bigger reel. You're gonna bring in more inches per turn. You bring in more line, so the bigger spool that you have for each revolution of the handle, you're gonna bring in more line per turn. And for me, most of the time when I'm using a spinning combo, I'm working the lure with the rod. So think like a shaky head, a Ned rig, Nico rig, wacky rig, all those I'm working with the rod and just bringing up slack line with the reel. I also like to consider the balance point. So you can see this is a 3,000 size reel on this rod. this combo feels awesome together. You know, when I hold my combo, I have all my fingers in front of the reel, and I hold my front finger, my index finger on the top of the rod like this, and I can essentially hold this without any grip, and it stays right there. My finger here, I can feel the bites. That's how I hold it. So you'll kind of have to take that into consideration when you put the combo together. But now as far as good reels, this is the Daiwa Fuego. This is a $100 reel. I think I got this one on sale like $25 off. Look for the sales. You can often find those $100 reels where I think you get a lot of good value for sub $100, you know, 70, 80 bucks, whatever. Look for something like that. So the Daiwa Fuego has been good. I am really liking this new Okuma ITX. Again, a $99 reel, 100 bucks. Feels solid, has been a great reel, and I actually got this one because I had been using this guy. You all have seen this one in a lot of videos, the Okuma Apixer. This is the older version. Amazon had these on sale for like $33, which is a steal. I think normally they were like $70. But the Apixer has been a killer reel. Again, the 3000 size, I have not had any issues with it. This Lew's Mach 2, the black and green reel, I've actually liked this one a lot. Surprisingly smooth. I've used some of the other Lew's reels that were more expensive with this, and I like this one more. So good option. Again, that 300 for Lew's, it's the 300 they call it instead of the 3000. That same size, feels great in the hand to me. I think, is that all of them here? Shimano makes great spinning reels. If you can, try to put the rod and the reel together to feel it in hand. That's something that people don't talk about very often, is how does the total combo feel in your hand? I've got some reels that feel great, you know, some rods that feel all right, but once you put them together, they don't necessarily mesh well. I don't notice that as much with spinning combos, but if you can, try to get it in hand and feel it, because if it's not comfortable, you're not gonna wanna fish it. You're gonna go to something else that's more comfortable. Okay, now when it comes to the line, I'm a big fan of going braid to a leader. All these combos that you see here are braid to a leader, because you cannot beat the sensitivity of braid on a spinning combo. You know, when you're going with a finesse lure, something that you're dragging or barely hopping, really trying to feel those finesse, those tiny bites, you can't beat braid. You cannot beat the sensitivity of braid. So I'm a huge fan of going braid to a leader. Now I know a lot of people that get scared of that because they're like, I don't want to tie a leader knot, right? Normally with my main line, I'm going 8 to 12 pound fluorocarbon leader. It's going to depend on what you want. If you want something that floats, you can go mono, or you can even go straight braid if you like. But don't be afraid of the connection knot. In fact, let me show you. I personally always go with the Alberto knot. You can see that's what it looks like tied. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to take the time to tie a leader. It's too hard to learn. Well, you know what? I think that's a perfect chance to tie the knot while I'm talking to you about it. Why the Alberto? Well, for me, I like the Alberto because it's quick. It doesn't take a lot of, like, you know, crazy loops and all this type of stuff. I put it through the bottom of this mainline loop and run it over 9 times. That's how I do it. 9 times in a circle, all I'm doing is looping this line over. I'm gonna take that line and loop it 9 times back down. So really all I'm doing is running this line over my doubled over main line, that fluorocarbon line. Doesn't take long at all, just as you can see as I'm talking to you here about it. I'm gonna put it back down through the opposite way that I came in, wet my knot because I know everybody likes to see that, and then I'm gonna pull it down. As I pull it down and cinch this, you can see it all kind of pulls down into a barrel. I know that's not the clearest, sorry, but I'm gonna pull that down, I'm gonna cinch it tight, pull it super hard. I don't want it to break now. You know, some people will be like, oh, you gotta be really careful with it. No, I'm gonna pull it hard to make sure that everything's good now. And you can see as I'm sitting here talking to you, as long as that took, I don't know what, 30 seconds, as soon as you learn a good connection knot, that's all it takes. You don't have to be worried about a knot like that. That's it, right there, the new Alberto knot. So you can see it doesn't take much time at all. Learn a good knot. I know some people start with the uni to uni. It's a little bit bigger. It's more of like a ball shape, so it kind of clicks through the guys that it can get kind of stuck. Again, the FG knot is awesome. It's super strong, nice and thin, but to me, it's a pain in the butt to tie. The Alberto, I don't have it break on me. It's nice and strong. Learn your knot, take a little bit of time with it, and you will be fine. Now, people will ask me, how long should this leader be? Well, you can see my connection knot is right here. I don't ever want my leader connection knot to go down into the spinning reel. If you allow that knot to go down into the reel, it can often catch. So when you go to cast, it's gonna catch other line, can get wind knots, can bundle up. Make sure that connection knot does not go down into the reel. And then when you look up at the top, you can see I've got just less than a foot from the tip of my rod to the lure. That's about how much I like to have when I set up my leader. Now, the other benefits you get from going braid to a leader is you don't have to worry about line twist. If you put mono or fluorocarbon on here, there's a good chance you're gonna get line twists with different lures. It's just a lot more prevalent with a nylon line, fluoro or mono, compared to braid. Braid doesn't have any memory. It sits on their limp. It casts a lot better. That's another big advantage of, you know, a 10-pound braid is much smaller than a 10-pound fluorocarbon or monofilament. It's nice and thin. For me, I like the P-LineTCB Braid. It's nice and smooth, casts really well. The Power Pro Super Slick is another good one. I did try some of that J. Lee braid from Berkeley. Has been pretty good. I also really like the Daiwa J braid, the 8-strand for my spinning combo. The P-Line or Sunline Siglon is also really nice. The abrasion resistance on that is pretty crappy, but that Siglon is so thin, it's like thread. It's crazy if you've never used it. Very good for open water stuff. Again, just doesn't have great abrasion resistance. Now, I kind of touched on it before. The sensitivity of braid is truly unmatched. And for most of these, you know, for a finesse presentation, it's not like I'm throwing a big search lure out and that fish hammers it and I'm, you know, swinging into it as hard as I can. You know, sometimes you're going to finesse when that bite is tough. So in case those fish are, you know, just barely kind of gulping it or just kind of mouthing it, where you're not feeling a hard hit, that braid is going to help. Any sort of, you know, ding or, you know, pop on the line, you're going to feel it a lot easier with braid compared to mono or fluoro. So the lures and presentations, I'm thinking about rigs and lures that have a lighter hook, right? You know, a 7-foot medium power rod isn't super stiff, so you're not going to drive big fat frog hooks or big fat flipping hooks with this kind of setup. You know, I'm thinking kind of normal wire and lighter wire hooks is what I use on this type of stuff. So I'm thinking like a lighter wire fluke hook. This happens to be one of those spear point hooks. A little bit lighter wire, weightless fluke, works awesome on a spinning rig like this. You can skip it under stuff without any sort of issue. You know, as with a bait caster, if you're trying to skip a weightless fluke on a bait caster, that's a lot of work. That can be pretty hairy. So I just avoid the headache and go to a spinning combo. Something like a Ned rig. That's one of Brian's custom Ned rigs. It's got the little keeper there. Super cool. EWG Ned rig, great for bank fishing, but again, it's a lighter wire hook. 7-foot medium power spinning combo is perfect for that. Like we talked about briefly earlier, that wacky hook, you know, like a weighted wacky or a weightless wacky rig, it's gonna have a thinner wire hook, perfect for a spinning combo. The old Nico rig, which I have been using a lot more this year, you're gonna see a couple videos of that, works perfect on the spinning combo. Or what I feel like is kind of my nemesis, the drop shot, right? Small hook, little light wire hook, perfect on a spinning rod and reel, but I don't know, I'm still just not sold on the drop shot. I just lose so many of them. But no line, it works great on a spinning rod and reel. So please do me a favor and comment below, let me know what your favorite do-it-all spinning combo out there is. Now, today's subscribed fishing friend is Jared Maynard. Jared, thank you so much for watching and continuing to support the channel. You've been around a while. And everybody else, comment below and let me know if you like this type of video. Gear breakdowns, talking about different rod and reel combos. If there's a specific breakdown or a specific, you know, presentation, like a specific lure that you want me to break down, I've got more of those planned. Comment below and let me know what you'd like. But anyway, I need to get this all edited and done, so thank you all so much for watching. I say it every video, but again, my channel wouldn't be possible without all of you, so thanks for watching, and until next time.